Hi everyone, this is Avena. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel, Embrace Natural Beauty, where it has been my goal to share with you simple tips and techniques that have been helpful to me in my very own natural hair journey, which has been just over 5 years now, that have helped me to maintain my hair, to keep it in good condition, and to retain length, which was always my goal. And I want all of you who watch and who follow me to better maintain your hair, to keep it in good condition, and to retain length, if that happens to be your goal, so that you enjoy your hair and embrace natural beauty of your own. This happens to be my first video for the year 2017. Yay! And in this video, I'm talking about reaching our natural hair goals that we've set for ourselves in this year, right? So, in keeping in line with our goals that we set, I actually posted on my social media, my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and I also discussed this topic on Periscope in a broadcast earlier this week. You know, guys, I do a broadcast every week on Periscope on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the plug, that's the plug. And so I did that broadcast this week talking about the goals, because you're setting off the new year, you want to talk about your goals, right? And in that broadcast, I reiterated, some of the factors that are facing us as we strive to reach certain goals that we have for our hair, whether it's natural or relaxed. And so I just want to reiterate that here in this video, and then go into detail about, the approach that I want to share with you, that I have for helping you to reach those goals. Okay, so I had to back it up, because I was sitting way too close to the camera and you guys couldn't see the end of my hair. So as we discussed, your goals that you set, a number of you had mentioned you want to, retain length, which was excellent, because that's what my channel was about, sharing tips with you so that you can retain that length that you want, because that was my goal, and I want, that for all of you as well. A number of you also mentioned that you wanted to reach certain lengths for your hair, such as armpit length, bra strap length, mid back or waist length, and tailbone even. And so reaching certain goals like that, I just want to go over, how do we actually, what are the implications of growing the hair to those different lengths? Okay, so first of all, hair is going to grow. As I shared with you before, hair grows all the time. In fact, the cells that are reproducing at such a rapid rate that when people are diagnosed with cancer and they go in for chemotherapy, the way that the treatment works is it kills off cells that act like cancer cells. Cancer cells duplicate rapidly, and so just like hair cells, it's a very fast producing cell, or it's a very fast cell production, and so that lets us know the hair is always, as long as everything is working in order, hair is always being developed. Okay, and your hair is a part of, your overall system. We all have this system that we're born with. It has certain information in the DNA from our parents coming together. Chromosomal DNA put together makes a very one unique you. And so by the time we are born, our system is already predetermined to have the certain number of follicles, the spacing in between each follicle, and the number of hairs that are going to grow out of each of those follicles. Now, on the average head of hair, or it is possible for a scalp or for a child to be born with follicles that can produce up to 500,000 hairs on the head. So anywhere in between that, is where some of us may fall, right? And with that knowledge, our follicles already have the information, the cells, the muscles, all of the functionality in order to produce the hairs that are going to come out of those particular follicles. The hairs are growing out of the follicles at different rates and have different cycles. Some of them are growing and they're in the growth stage at a certain phase, whereas others may be approaching or closer to the next phase of the hair growth cycle. And so let's talk about what that hair growth cycle looks like. There are 3 phases in the hair growth cycle. They are anagen, which is the growing phase, catagen, which is the resting transitional phase, and there's telogen, which is the phase where your hair actually sheds from the scalp and just before you begin with anagen again, which is the growing stage. So it's a cycle of 3 different stages that have determining lengths based on, again, your genetics. So if you are born with a DNA that tells your body that you go into anagen and you stay in anagen for a year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, all the way up to 7 years, that's going to pretty much dictate how long your hair is growing, right? So the longer your hair is in that anagen stage, the longer your hair has the potential to grow without being cut, right? Now, in addition to your phases of growth, your cycle, there is a rate at which your hair actually grows. So some people experience hair growth anywhere from a quarter inch, a half inch, 3/4 of an inch, or an entire inch, or even insanely probably more than that, not the average though, per month. So by the end of a year, by the end of a full year, it's going to determine, your growth rate is going to determine how long your hair will grow in that 1 year's time. So when you factor in having a growth rate and a growth cycle, whatever it is determined by your DNA, that is what is essentially going to determine the maximum your hair will grow. So there are certain things that we can do for our hair to maintain our hair and to keep it in good condition in order to retain length, which is what I've been sharing with you on my YouTube channel and in connecting with you on Periscope over the past couple of years. That has been my goal. And as I have learned more and studied more about how I can help you reach your hair goals as a professional, I have come to the understanding that, I know that vitamins may help to strengthen your hair as it grows so that you grow hair in a more optimal state. If you have anything that was hindering your hair growth, perhaps those vitamins, if you have the right selection of vitamins, could help fill in those deficiencies, right? But when it comes to your growth rate and your growth cycle, that's something that's really going to help determine the length of your hair. So when I shared that the growth rate and the growth cycle based on your genetics is going to determine the maximum length you can grow with your hair, I did get a number of responses from people who felt pretty much discouraged, upset with their parents that, they gave them certain genetics that are going to keep them from reaching certain goals that they may have for themselves. And so I just want to let you know, I just want to let you guys know that, I can relate. I'm sitting here with my long hair. It's grown in naturally. Pretty much, growth happens effortlessly. Growth happens effortlessly. However, it is still been my position and my focus to take care of my hair so that the hair that does grow remains in good condition and I retain the length of that hair that's growing. That has been my focus. So now I want to shift gears and I want to explain to you why this is important to me and why I'm committed to this. Yeah, this is going to be a long video, so just bear with me. I'll try and edit it so that it's not so long-winded, but I really do need to share this with you guys. I know what it's like to be born with limitations. Right now, I'm sitting before you with this very long natural hair that's been silk pressed. And I've grown this very much effortlessly, like I said, although I did do my part, which is to maintain my hair, to keep it in good condition in order to retain this length. Now, growing was not the issue for me, but it may be the issue for some of you. And so I want you guys to know that I can relate. I can so relate to being born with, certain limitations. Okay, I was born with the inability or the difficulty of bearing child full-term pregnancy. I got married when I was 31, and at that age, I knew that I was going to be approaching, the high risk age pretty soon, which is 35. So my goal was to have my children before I reached the age of 35. So I was like, you know, really, like as soon as we got married, I said, I want to have these children. I want to have at least two. and that was very important to me. So 6 months after, you know, I was 31 years old. 6 months after we got married, we did conceive, and we were expecting our first child. And so unfortunately, shortly after learning that we had, you know, that we were expecting, a month later, I believe it was, by this time I was 32, we had miscarried. My body was not able to hold on to that pregnancy. And the doctors assured me, they said, you know, first pregnancies tend to go that way. You know, a lot of first pregnancies are lost due to miscarriage. And I was like, okay, so let's continue to try. And it took a while before the second pregnancy, and I think it was like a year later, we were able to conceive. And that pregnancy, you know, I was really excited because it went so much further than the first pregnancy. So I was really expecting that this was going to go the distance. Unfortunately, that pregnancy also ended in miscarriage, and I was so far along in the pregnancy that I had to, the doctors had to induce my delivery. Yeah, that's what it's called. They had to induce the contractions so that I could deliver the baby. And I'm most likely going to put the pictures up in here. That was heartbreaking for me. I'd done everything right. I was a woman of God. I still am a woman of God. Walking in obedience, faithful to the Lord. Waited until, you know, my husband and I waited until we were married to be together. And all we wanted was to have a family. And this seemed to escape us. After trying for a couple more years, we conceived again several years later. By this time I was 36, and that pregnancy didn't go too far. But after I lost that baby to miscarriage again, the doctor I had was able to share with me that I'd been diagnosed with an incompetent cervix. Now, an incompetent cervix is not something that you can fix by eating well, by having a good diet, by exercising and getting good rest. All the things that you think, you know, you can do to help out your body as it's trying to go through whatever it's meant to do naturally. The incompetent cervix needed to be shored up with the help of surgery, a minor surgery, not too bad. So the doctors recommended I go in and have my cervix sewn up at the bottom so that it wouldn't open up. And so I did that, and hoping that now I can have a successful full-term pregnancy and deliver a baby and have a family. The next pregnancy, my fourth pregnancy, I was 37 when I conceived, and that pregnancy was high risk because I was 37. Sure was the other one, I was 36. So throughout the pregnancy, I was, you know, tested very heavily to make sure that not only I was okay, but that the baby was growing okay. We got through each stage. Everything was looking great. The baby did not show any signs of Down syndrome, and was growing healthy, growing strong. I went through hyperemesis, which is, it was very hard for me to eat food without throwing it up. I was always nauseous, and I lost a lot of weight. But you know, I had you know, great insurance, I had excellent health care, and was able to get everything I needed to help keep this pregnancy and everything all the resources going for me. When I went in for my 6-month sonogram, the doctors noticed something and told me that I needed to be on bed rest. It looked like my cervix was starting to open up. Even though it was sewn up, it was starting to open up. And so I went out for my job. I went on bed rest for a couple of weeks until I experienced, a lot of leaking. The baby was getting much bigger and starting to show finally for the first time. After 4 pregnancies, this was the first time I was actually starting to look like I was pregnant. I mean, I was so thin from having, so much nausea that you could see the little bump very easily. And at 22 weeks, started leaking, call my doctor, frantic. I'm like, I'm leaking, what's going on here? And she tells us to come in. She examines me and she says to me, Mrs. Palmore, I need to ask your permission to terminate this pregnancy. This is something that I prayed about, been faithful, seeking the Lord about, this desire of my heart. So surely the Lord is going to give me the desire of my heart. I've been faithful and seeking Him, and I said, no. You're going to bring this baby out with tact, and you're going to do everything you can to ensure this baby survives. And the doctor was like, but the lungs are not fully developed, Mrs. Palmer. This is not going to be, a healthy child. And I was like, is the heart still beating? Is the baby still alive? She's like, yes. Well, then you're not going to terminate this pregnancy. I want you to bring this baby out completely whole, completely intact. And sure enough, the pregnancy was, the delivery was induced, and I delivered the baby, and the baby was stillborn. I didn't want to look at the baby. My body had failed her. It was the most difficult thing to experience, and I thought that was difficult. But shortly after that, my body went into nourishing mode. And the doctors prepared me. They said, Mrs. Palmore, this is the furthest pregnancy you've had, and unlike the other pregnancies, your body thinks you have a baby now to feed. So they told me how to help keep my breast from producing the milk, or try to stifle it. But my breasts were filling with milk. They were like bricks. I didn't have a baby to feed. I was in mourning the loss of my baby, and I had to ice and cabbage leaves and all kinds of things to keep my breasts from filling up, so much with this milk. I had to get something to pump the milk out, and I had no baby, and it was just very, very sad for me, a very difficult, very hard time for me. And so as I mourned the loss of my baby, and I just wanted to really didn't want to live, but I wasn't suicidal, but I really did not want to live. I knew that there was a purpose in all this, and I prayed about it. I said, well, I've done everything that I possibly could to get, further and further toward delivering a baby and being a mom and having a family, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That was my dream. That was my goal. And I decided then, okay, Lord, I'm listening. It's not about me. What is your will for my life? Whatever your will is for my life, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I determined to do. And so I was 39 when I decided to chop off my relaxed hair and grow my hair in its natural state. And when I made that determination, I sought out how to care for my hair. I had difficulty finding someone to help me with the transition, to help me prepare my hair and what I was going to need to do. And in searching for someone, I discovered that there was very few people out there who could help me. And so I decided that there is a lack of of supply for the demand that is there. I already foresaw that there was going to be a need for, specialty in natural hair care. And so at that time, with a heavy heart, my only purpose in life, my only desire in life was to be a family. But now I wanted to do God's will, and I allowed the Lord to lead me with the passion that I had to care for, not only myself, transitioning now and moving into wearing my hair in its natural state. I wanted to be able to care for others who were going to go through this journey. And so I decided then to go to beauty school, to work toward my license, so that I could provide professional care to those who are seeking to grow their hair and to care for their hair in its natural state. And I believe that just as my body has difficulty carrying a child to full term naturally, there are ways that medicine has been engineered, or ideas that have come up to help in the process so that women like me could experience childbirth. Now, I have gone on and had a final I had a final surgery that was more invasive, and I had to be sewn up on the inside so that if I were to be pregnant again, I would be able to carry the baby the full term and have to deliver via C-section, which is a very common thing that people are doing now. Unfortunately for me, and I'm not going to stay on this too long, but unfortunately for me, my marriage became very difficult. It was a very trying time for us, and we did go into marriage counseling. We were advised by our counselor to focus on strengthening the marriage before trying to have children again. And unfortunately, we were not able to come to any agreements. In the marriage counseling for us as a couple, and we dissolved the marriage. After we dissolved the marriage, my husband, who was 44 at the time, just shy of 45 years old, passed away suddenly of a brain aneurysm. So my husband did pass away. He was his age then is the age that I am now, 44. And so while I have all the equipment in place now, I've shored up everything, I don't have a marriage. And my goal has not been to seek out a husband to fulfill my desire, because like I said to you, I asked the Lord to show me his will for my life. And that has been my focus, and I trust and believe that in God's timing I will have what God wants me to have, or the desires of my heart. And my focus is to be about God's business, and God will be about my business. So I shared all that, my painful history, to let you guys know that I can relate. I can relate to having a desire that seems so close, but yet unattainable because of how our body is equipped. And I know that, and I trust and believe that the body is able, right? If your body has the capability to grow hair, then your body has the capability to grow that hair long. Now the thing is matching up the functionality to align itself with that goal. And just as my body was prepared to nourish a baby that did not exist, I believe that your body can continue to grow hair beyond the set point that naturally you were born with. And those are the type of growth aids that are going to help those of you who have a shorter cycle or a slower rate, or the combination of the two, to reach the goals that you have for either armpit length, bra strap length, waist length, or even tailbone length. Now, I don't know why you want tailbone length. That's a lot of hair. Waist length is a lot of hair. So, but if that's your goal, if that's your desire, that's what I want for you. Because I trust and believe that as I continue to work toward blessing and serving you all in the natural hair community, which was my desire, which was my purpose, which was my goal when I entered beauty school when I was 39, that we can get there. And I want to help you achieve your goals. So first we need to determine, what is your growth rate? How fast does your hair actually grow? And then we need to determine how long your cycle is, how long your cycle of growth is before it goes into catagen and subsequently into telogen. All right. So I'll be working on that. That's my focus this year, because so many of you had shared that your goal is not only length retention, but these certain lengths that you want to reach. So I am actively pursuing, what actual growth aids will help you reach those goals. I also know a number of you in the porosity struggle, either high or low, are struggling with moisture, getting moisture into your hair or retaining that moisture. And so I'll be working with you on those goals throughout this year as well. I've been able to reach my goals of achieving waist length hair and keeping my hair well moisturized, and I've been absolutely happy with my hair, and I'm not satisfied until you all are happy with your hair as well, because I truly, truly, truly want you to enjoy your hair and embrace natural beauty of your own. So please share with me, if you've already been taking vitamins or supplements of any kind to help you grow your hair longer or faster. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what vitamins you've been taking, how long you've been taking them, how long you've been natural, and if you've seen any results and so forth. Be in contact with me. Please share, your experiences in the comment section below. And if you haven't already shared with me what your goals are for 2017, please let me know, because I'm going to be praying about that. And I'm also going to be working diligently toward finding ways to help you guys achieve your natural hair goals for the year 2017 and beyond. So thank you for watching, and thank you for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you catch me on Periscope so we can chat about these things on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I look forward to connecting with you as always in various social media platforms, as you'll see, my Instagram, my Facebook, Twitter, and back here on YouTube and on Periscope. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Love you all. Happy New Year.
And yes, for the new year, I'm having a giveaway. Please see the details are in the description box below for how you can participate. This is, the year that we're going to be reaching our natural hair goals for 2017. Stay connected with me on my various social media platforms. And as I mentioned before, you can chat with me live on Periscope on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can download the app onto your smartphone and follow me at Embrace in Beauty to get the alert when I'm broadcasting live. And as always, thank you so much for watching.